John D. Rockefeller, the first billionaire in the United States, is considered the wealthiest American ever. When he passed away in 1937, his assets were equivalent to 1.5% of the United States' total economic output. A mind-boggling figure. At one point, the richest man on earth was asked by a reporter, "How much money is enough?" He calmly replied, "Just a little bit more." So that bit came from our friend here, Kendall King's recent article, More Money Won't Make You Happy. It's a 3-part article that's outstanding, and I encourage everyone to read. But Kendall, you've had a lot of experience with many entrepreneurs, wealthy folks in general, maybe people with a high income or have had an exit in a business, and you've had experience with people that have came from nothing, have come from a lot. And what I found most interesting about your article is that, is really just what the title says, is that, hey, a little bit more may not do it. Mm-hmm. So tell us a little bit about the 3-part article, and then we'll kind of dive into it a little further.
Yeah, no, I appreciate that. The reason for the 3-part article is this is such a big topic, and man, it's amazing how this just trips people up. We've all seen it, people that have a lot of wealth that just don't seem happy and don't seem content. And so that's kind of what put me in the position to say I want to write something about it. And I just kind of go into the discovery mode for myself as well. It's true, if you just examine it, money by itself is not good or bad. But when we put it in its improper place, then it can become a bad thing, right? So I think that quote by Rockefeller, you're talking about, arguably the wealthiest person of all time based on, inflation adjusted. And, if that doesn't get your attention, I'm not sure what would about, oh yeah, more money will solve my problems. And so, the other thing, so I guess the first one is be content, learn to be more content, right? Great to have money, but that's not what's going to make you more happy. Second thing is, and this is what we love to do, Jake, is let's figure out what that finish line looks like. Mm-hmm. Because if we can have a finish line, then we can kind of know, okay, this is the number that will help me achieve the type of life I want. And it doesn't mean people don't want more, but at least we have that in place, and ideally an advisor kind of holding you accountable to that. And then of course the third piece, which I love talking about, is just the generosity piece. That all 3 of those things, being learn to be more content, finding your finish line, and then third, learning how generosity can actually unlock more happiness. I think all 3 of them, what I've discovered in my own life and through people that I get to work with, and the people we get to work here together, those are kind of the keys that I find.
So on the contentment, that one's the second one, define your finish line. That's great. We've also talked about define your finish line, and then have many finish lines along the way, right, that you can celebrate.
That's right.
A lot of the folks that we've worked with together, and that have had big events, it's kind of like, okay, what's the next thing? Yeah. Which is good because they have talents, and they need to continue to leverage those talents. Right. It's good for the world. It's good for them. But hey, we have to have a finish line, and we have to celebrate along the way, or else we're not going to get that contentment. So right. Is there anything else in your experience that you've seen work well with balancing aspiration, what I'll call it, aspiration, with that contentment? Because I know what you're not saying is, hey, just be content, sit on the couch, right, don't do anything.
Totally.
How do you balance that? What have you seen work well?
I like what you said. I think recognizing the blessing that you've been given. Mm-hmm. I think that's huge. Celebrate it. Mm-hmm. Be grateful for it. And I like what you said too about, if someone has that gift, we're not saying don't use that gift to go create more wealth. What we're saying is let's just put money in its proper perspective, right? It's when it becomes the only thing we're going after, that's when the problem happens, right? And that's why all 3 of those things together, really become powerful. Warren Buffett, hero of mine. I just love how he's one of the wealthiest people in the world, and yet he's decided his, I don't even know how old his car is, 15-year-old, 20-year-old car. He's content with that. Someone said, why don't you get a new car? And he said, why would I get a new car? I'm happy with what I have. Yep. And then I can actually take that money and I can go create more returns for all the investors in my fund. And I'm like, I love that. I think that's great.
That's good. Well, and what I heard you say there is you're not telling someone to be content, sit on the couch, don't use your talents.
That's
Actually,
right.
you're saying the opposite.
That's
You're
right.
saying continue to leverage those talents,
Yeah.
and if a byproduct of that is more money, fine.
Yeah.
But find contentment in what you have, and then leverage it and leverage your current aspirations, your current talents, your own talents, your unique talents, your unique abilities to go create more for others, to create more for yourself, your family. But do that because your talents are a blessing to the world. Don't just be in it for the money. So that's a good distinction there.
Yeah, that's right. Just again, it's what's the purpose behind it?
What's the purpose? Yeah.
If we have the right purpose, money can be a great thing.
Yep.
And it's fun. And I just really believe that at the end of our lives, we're going to be asked, how do we steward what was given to us?
Right.
And I think these are the things that I found that are going to be the most important. So
quickly, we've kind of gone through an overview of the entire series, but is there anything in part 2 or 3 that you would point to, or have we done a good job of kind of going high level, and then viewers can dig into the articles further if they want to?
I like what you said, that create a finish line, but don't be so hard on yourself if you see that it needs to be adjusted. I mean, it sounds like we're talking out both sides of our mouth, but having at least a finish line that you're working toward, instead of like, I have no idea. I think that's healthy. I think you've seen that's healthy.
Yeah.
Don't be hard on yourself if you get down the road and you say, oh, actually, I've got a lot bigger family. I got more grandkids and there's more things I want to do. No problem, right? We'll create a different finish line. But the key is we're going to create a finish line. And I'm going to hit the generosity thing again. That's the one thing that, and I just think that's the one thing that people, if they'll just, even if they start small, I think that will open up so many things for them. Biblically it says that giving is the key to breaking the power of money over you. So if I can become a generous person, money no longer has a hold over me.
That's good.
And I think there's a verse that I love, and it's those who are generous and give their money away will actually be all the richer. People that withhold what they should give actually become poorer.
Wow,
and I think that's what I've discovered of the people that I admire the most and respect, and I want to be like is, they may be successful, but their generosity is what I can see it. That's what unlocks the abundance for them.
I love that. And what is generosity? It's individualized. So it's each different person that may be a different amount. It has nothing to do with the amount.
It's not a comparison.
Just like those verses you just kind of rehearsed. It's all about the act of doing it. That's great. So contentment, defining your finish line. Maybe have some mini finish lines along the way.
Yep.
And don't be too hard on yourself. You have to adjust that finish line. And then the third one, which I'm glad you went into that. Third one is giving, being generous, generosity. So those are 3 big topics in the articles. There's part 1, 2, and 3. Now you have those on LinkedIn, and then also through our client newsletter we've sent them out. So that's fantastic. Anything else you want to share?
I think we covered some big ones there. So I think
that's great.
I think we did it.
Thanks everyone for tuning in.